Hi, my name is Hayden Creech. This is one of our PBT coaching classes, very different than our online private lessons or our in-person private lessons because I can't see you. But I have a lot of students who really want to practice some of the things we're working on at home. I always give homework, but it's nice to have something to follow along with. So we'll add a few of these into our YouTube. We'd really love to see you in a free trial class. It's the best way to get a taste for this. You're going to hear some different cueing and hopefully feel the kind of imagery and anatomical based cueing that we use. But with free trial lesson, there's so much we can accomplish in just 45 minutes, figuring out your unique body and how things might need to tweak in your technique that are still correct, but aren't what you're hearing in class every day, those cues that address the entire class. So you need a Pilates ball, 9 or 10 inch inflatable ball. It's great, we can do so many exercises with it. There are ways to modify almost all of these work without a ball. There's one where you'll be placing the ball low in the pubic bone, and there's not going to be much space to lift your legs without the ball, but you're welcome to give it a try. Alright, starting out with an airplane to find some alignment. This is going to be in parallel. You're starting out in a parallel marched position. On the introduction, you're pressing in 7-8 actively into your leg. You have 2 counts, 1 and 2, coming to an unfolded flat back. Then take your entire body and twist towards your standing side. Even if it doesn't go very far, it's not leading with your arm, it's your entire torso, back 5, 6, up 7, make sure you're pressing by 8. You have down for 2 counts. This back leg should be completely parallel. This knee is over the toe. Then you twist, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one you'll come up 7, 8. You're ready for 1. 2. You might not get in as much of a press that time, but the press is helping you feel your belly button pulling away from your shirt and up towards your chest, as well as activating really deep the psoas, bringing the leg slightly above 90, so then you're feeling that stretch as you unfold. You find the engagement, you find the stretch. Let's do it with music. Lifting the leg, pressing in, unfolding nice and parallel, 2, twist in one piece, coming back, find that psoas, the connection of the spine to the pelvis, back leg is truly parallel, knee stays towards the ground even as you twist, zipping up your core like a full zip jacket, up, other side, unfold, checking that your gaze is following, you're keeping your neck nice and in line. Up, press. Unfolding, shoulders are nice and long. Keeping that leg parallel, that's the work. Here we go. Last thing. Beautiful. Alright, finding a similar activation that we just did with this press at the beginning of the airplane. You've taken the stability from that, and now we're combining the two just in a different way. Take your Pilates ball, place it under your knee in parallel. The whole time you're going to actively squeeze just enough to hold the ball. You don't need to crunch. You shouldn't feel too much muscle activation in the leg. Your arms are at your shoulders. Now, staying in parallel, you lift up 1, 2, drop to 90, and 3, 4, and. So you're never going to go below 90, and then you're going to lift up, really engaging. It should feel like between your hip and your belly button, something really deep in there. It makes some people nauseous. If you feel nauseous, you're probably doing it right. If you feel grippy in the hip flexor, it's okay, especially if this is your first few times doing it, totally normal. You're just trying to think of something deeper, but obviously the hip flexor flexes the hip, so it's going to be turned on a little bit, as well as your thigh. So we're lifting up 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 8 times. Then, let's say 7 times. You go up, up, and on the 8th time you're going up, then on and you rotate. So this leg is rotated, this leg is in parallel. Same thing, you're lifting above 90 and coming back. 3, 4, And on the 8th one, you're coming up, up, and we'll stop the music between sides. And engaging really deep next to the spine, up, we're halfway there. Rooting into your standing side as you pull up, up, here comes the opening, up, sink into your hip. We're up, lifting long toes, not crunching your standing toes. Rooting into your standing side, karate chopping this hip. Almost there. Here we go. Take a second, shake out that leg. Placing the ball. Here we go. Lift. And again, the ball is just there, a little bit of a press. Just keeping it from falling. Making sure your ribs don't flare as you lift up. You're really just perched on top of your pelvis. Here we open, find that turnout. It's a little bit of a different feeling turning out while staying in parallel here. This side doesn't feel as good. That's all right. Almost there. Last one. Lovely. All right, we felt the engagement in the front body. Now we're gonna feel a little bit of stretch as we engage the back body. So you're placing the ball at your pubic bone. If you feel like you need to use the restroom, it's a little too high, so just play with it. It shouldn't be comfortable, but it shouldn't hurt or be like too bad. But it's an awkward position. So you're coming with the ball at your pubic bone, finding your fifth. Fifth is not as accessible here, but the ball is still helping you, making some space for your legs to rotate. You're gonna have your head on your hands. I'm gonna look up so you can hear me. But you're engaging, feeling where your seat meets your hamstring, pulling sideways, so the backs of your legs are going in towards each other. So you're lifting 1, 2, straight legs down, 3, 4. You're doing that 3 times. Let's say this was the 3rd one. I'm going up 5, baby first on 6, 5th on 7, down 8, other side. Lift for 2 and down, down. My belly button is not into the floor. I'm not letting it collapse. I'm lifting slightly up like the ball is under my stomach, and I'm pulling slightly away, trying not to make an indentation. You're going for 2 counts up, 2 counts down, 3 times, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, lift 5, first 6, 7, down 8, immediately into the second side. Here we go. Lifting, control, 1 piece, and down, 3rd one. Long backs of the knees, through first, lift, first, cross sideways, down, lift. This side is not as accessible to me, so I'm really thinking about finding length in my front body as I engage my back body. Through first, lift, first, 5th, down, pressing into a child's pose. Give yourself a second. All right, finding our plie and some rotation, you're going to place the ball, I like at the low calf. I do have some students who prefer right at the heel, but I'd recommend trying it at the low calf so your heel sticks out. So you're placing that. Now, engage your core, bringing your ribs towards your hips, lifting your shoulder blades off the floor. You plie 1, 2, stretch 3, hold 4. 3 times like that. Stretch and hold. You're plieing, stretch and hold, then parallel 5, 6, turn out 7, 8, 2 times, stretch and hold. The ball is creating some space. You're almost thinking that your calves are rotating forward on the ball as you're rotating from the top. So it's starting from the top, this is pulling sideways, and because that's pulling sideways, you're pulling sideways and maintaining the ball. Stretch. Let's say this is our third one. Stretch 4 in 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 2 times. Part B, you're doing the same thing. You start with your plie. Now notice that my knees are over my hips. That's going to be the same every time. But now I'm extending to more of a 60 degree, wherever I can go without losing my back. Coming in, so out, 2, hold, out, into, out, 3, hold, 4. Let's say this is the third time. I will rotate and rotate. One more time like that, and we'll take a break. So 2 times at 90 degrees, you plie for 2 counts, stretch on 3, hold 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, parallel 5, 6, rotate 7, 8. I want you to think about how you're supporting the ball, rotating it forward, and then I want you to think about this energy coming from where your hamstring meets your seat, this kind of pull. Now those tiny muscles really deep can't do all the work, but because we're not weight bearing, this is an opportunity to really think about where rotation originates. So play with that. Ball goes between the low calf. Here we go, lift up, plie, stretch, hold. Lifting as high as you can without that tension in your neck. Third one, extend. Here we come to parallel, knees face you. Then from that seat, one more time. Long toes. This can be as much of a jump dynamic as you want, little saute, or it can be small. Extending. We have parallel. Repeating at 60 if that's available to you. Knees over hips, extend. Same thing, finding that knee over hip, extend. Third time. Now keep that ball pressing in slightly and out. You're feeling your upper core here because the legs are lower. That lever is longer. Breathing, coming in, long, parallel, out, relax. Beautiful. All right, introducing all second, we're going to do an adage, side lying. This is really important as you check at home, especially if you're newer to PBT or to any sort of body weight based exercise, that you create a completely straight line. You might want to use the edge of a yoga mat to check, or maybe you take a quick video of yourself and look back, maybe filmed kind of profile. But you're finding this completely straight line. If the knees are in front of you, see my pelvis is naturally dipping back, and I'm not engaging the same muscles that I would have to standing up. The whole point of PBT is to build muscle memory, right? So you're finding your completely straight line. The ball is again going to be similar placement as before, so your heels are just barely sticking out. And side lying. You can put as much weight as you need to into this front hand to help keep this hip square. You're coming up for 2 and in 3, 4, 5, and a 6. Extend your best first. So what I'm thinking is rotation on my standing leg is the most important. Everything is very even, 2 counts per movement, and down. If you've done this video a lot or you're a more advanced dancer, you have the option to lift your legs the whole time. You have the option to lift your bottom arm, to lift your top arm in any combination. So maybe you play with one of those today. That's part 1, up 1, 2, parallel 3, 4, open 5, 6, down 7, 8, 2 times. Part B, you're coming up for 2, grab your ball, extend, hold. So that's going to be an 8. Then you flex and fondue, 2, extend, 3, and a 4, coming down, 7, 8. Setting yourself up in the straightest line possible. Lift. 2. Finding parallel without falling forward. rotating, keeping that right hip square, the top hip. Coming up, in, rotate from that base of the seat like before. Finding the rotation on your bottom leg, it might help to lift. Coming up, this is nice and slow. Grab your ball, actively press into it. Développé. Hold, check for long toes, check for that square top hip. Flex. Extend. Coming in. Lifting controlled. In. You can put weight in this front hand for some stability. Down. One more time. Lifting. Keeping your top hip square, it's almost pressing forward. Open from the base of your seat like a key in a lock, spiraling. Part B. Up. Use your lower side core. Getting that ball, now you're pressing into it. Notice that my elbow's engaged, it's not dropping down. Flex that knee. Extend, squaring off, coming in, roll down. All right, changing the dynamics a little bit, going into grand battements. You're going to set up in fifth. So again, heels are slightly off the ball, kind of the general rule. You're in your best fifth for today. Your palms are flipped in a small V. You grand battement up and 2, retrograde 3, 4. All seconde, out, in, 7, 8. And you just keep going like that. We're going to do 4 sets. So front, side, front, side, front, side, front, side. You can absolutely take a break. You can take a break and go the other side, whatever you're needing. Watch with this, because you're not standing, you've probably heard that correction, making like a J. You're bringing your legs so far in front of you, then you have no choice but to lift. Because you're not standing, you have more room. The floor's not in the way. You can really exaggerate that feeling, even though it's not anatomically possible to extend your leg any more than we've already extended it. It's that energy. So I really want you to think about that. And then notice, like the exercise we just did, what's happening with your pelvis forward and back. Flipping your palms, long legs. Lift. 2, retrograde. All seconde. Extend. Retrograde. That's 1. Sinking your shoulders into the floor. All seconde. Now watching, I'm noticing my ribs flaring a little bit. So I'm not sucking them down, but I'm thinking of this energy drawing down and in at the same time. Up. Almost there. Karate chop that hip. Up. Now I want you to notice the ball isn't just there because it's decoration. It's there because it's giving you proprioceptive feedback. So there are 2 kind of things that the ball could tell you. 1, the ball bounced up and down while you did your grand battement. That's telling you that in the center, you probably tend to bend your knee, your standing knee. Number 2, it rolled sideways. What that's telling you is in the center, your standing leg likes to rotate to parallel. So think about what you just did. Notice which one might be true based on what you know about yourself in class and what the ball just told you. And as we go to the second side, really see if you can now correct that. If you didn't notice it, pay attention. But if you did, now's the time to try to fix a little bit of it. Flipping your palms. Lift. Knees away from one another. See, my ball just rolled side to side, which is very consistent with what I try to cheat in class. Long toes, shoulder sinking into the floor. What is that ball telling you? As you extend with this dynamic, is it bouncing? Do you use your plie to create that momentum? Or is it coming from your rotators and deep in your core? Here we are. Best one, knees apart. All right, last thing is some releve work. Now, you're going to feel your calves, obviously, but your calves can't do all the work. On point, if you've gotten through a 2-hour point class, you know your calves can't do it all. Neither can your tiny little toes. So I want you to think about drawing this work into the muscles we've already found in class. Now, some of them, obviously, that's not the psoas's job to lift you up. But thinking about these general areas, your deep core supporting your heavy pelvis, pulling up the side of your leg, pulling up your leg as you pull sideways with your legs, feeling this base of the seat. Things don't start from down low, because then we sink and we're heavier and we're just using our calves to lift everything up. Instead, it's almost like we're floating. You're kind of cut in half. You're a suspending body. Legs and torso are separate. And this space, the cutout space, is all of this energy kind of sparking and feeling this activation. So you're going to have your legs in parallel. The ball, you have two options. If you're wanting to feel more of an adductor exercise and really feeling the base of your seat almost like someone is lifting you up, place it between the thighs. You also have the option to place it between the calves, shifting the work a little bit lower. Just your awareness of the work is a better way to say that. So you're at the bar, you'll rise up and down. 1 count up, 1 count down. You can obviously do this without holding the bar, it's just there for some support. You'll do that 8 times, then lift one leg. You're going up and down, up and down. This is 3, 4, and little syncopated switch. 4 over here. So you've done 8 with both legs, 4 on each single leg. So up, down. 1 count per movement. We'll freeze there and then rotate. Sing the ball. 7. Already finding that space, control down. Up and down. Your ankles are on an elevator. They don't get to dip sideways and wiggle. Straight up, down. Controlling, you're pressing your foot into putty and letting it squeeze out to the side. Last one, lift one foot. Straight up, down. Staying nice and parallel, you're not sinking into that standing side. And we switch up. You're feeling that bigger calf muscle, feeling the work it takes to rotate in parallel. Last one, finish. All right, we're doing the same thing turned out in a baby second. You have the same choices. I really like for this one to have the ball up high. Just shifting that activation because we tend to get so twisty. We have this tibial torque, and this can kind of get in my knees and my shins. I feel like they're doing the work and I'm gripping my toes, so I really do like to bring the ball higher. Maybe you try that today. Maybe putting that ball higher, baby second. We're nice and tall. Straight up, control down. Now with this one, wherever your heels end up is fine. I don't want you to get down and try to get more. You're where you are, and that's where you can support yourself. Zipping up your core like a jacket as you pull your tailbone heavy on a slight diagonal down, up. We're going to one foot in a little sur le coup de pied derrière. Here we go. Up. Now you're really using your rotator to keep that ball in place. There's less just natural friction of your legs pressing in. Last one. Checking the alignment of both ankles. Straight up, not sinking into that hip. Your hips are nice and level. Last one. and finish. So we worked the larger calf muscle, the gastrocnemius. Now we're going to work the soleus, which is smaller and below it. The gastrocnemius is what's going to get you on releve and straight legs. The soleus works when you're in plie. So it's what's lifting my heels right now while my knees are bent. This is important because this is the landing of every jump and the moment of takeoff of every jump. So it's usually weaker in us, especially in the landing of the jump. You can get a little bit of a shake. We're wanting to work on today, strengthening that so we have the balance of straight leg and bent leg calf raises. So we'll do this only in first, but totally a great thing to do while you brush your teeth, just in parallel. You'd want to be a little bit hip width. So have that for your own practice, but we'll do it rotated, just up and down, nice even counts. Coming into your first, up, up, up. But these landings are controlled, even though they're fast. You're pressing your heels down, feeling that same putty sensation. Last one. Beautiful. So for our private coaching, we typically do more exercise. This was 7 exercises, 8 if you count the calf raises as separate. But we typically do more, 10 to 12-ish. But the whole point is that we get in the nitty gritty. So maybe we do one exercise and it's not working and we shift the ball position, or we change equipment, or we're just really saying maybe your hand needs to be here. Maybe you need to think of your hip over rotating in one direction, and that actually squares it off. We play with those little things because our bodies are not the same as one another. So what works for someone doesn't work for everybody else. Like for me, my fifth has to be just slightly open, like a baby fourth this way, so that I can keep my pelvis and my pelvis in line and my knees straight. In a completely crossed fifth, it doesn't work. And that's the kind of thing that we figure out together, because it took me a long time to figure that out. And life would have been so much easier if I'd had one private lesson and we talked about it. Maybe we did that exercise with the ball low where you're lifting in fifth, and we had that revelation. So this is different than our online or in-person private lessons because I can't see you. There's no live feedback, but you get the idea of what some of the cues are like. And I'm so glad you could join. I hope to see you in a free trial class sometime soon.